and welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today we are looking at the HulkBuster with a cautionary tale. Oh, mysterious. But first of all, roll those credits. Welcome back. So today we are looking at the HulkBuster. The cautionary tale that comes with this is that I bought this model on Etsy. I bought it about 1.5 years ago. I was sort of plucking up the courage to be able to print and paint it and everything else. And unfortunately, what I have found out since we did this, so whenever we're doing model videos, we put up links to the artist so that you can go and buy it from wherever we bought it from. That's sometimes Patreons, cults, that can be my mini factory, it could be direct from them, 1,000 different ways. The model is quite clearly based off of an XM Studios statue, which is really nice. But it turns out the person that we bought this from on Etsy is ultimately a thief. So we can phrase it differently if we really want to, but he stole this. He got his hands on the STL file somehow. Maybe he bought it from the original artist, I don't know. But he is reselling somebody else's work, for sure. The irritation is that I've done reverse image searches, I have looked through all the files to see if there's any signs or anything like that. Nothing is signed, and as a result I cannot find who originally designed the model. If we were able to find them, then obviously we'd be able to reach out to those guys and we'd be able to say, like, you know, this person's stolen your model. They could do a DMCA request or do whatever they wanted to try and get it taken down off of Etsy. And probably more importantly, we could have paid the original artist for their work. We haven't been able to do that, and that's super frustrating. But that being said, let's take a look at this glorious model. So let's talk about paint job. Painting metallics I have always found to be incredibly hard, especially when you're trying to get very specific colours. So obviously I was trying to go for Iron Man colours. So I wanted the gold, I wanted the silvers, but most importantly I wanted that hot rod red. I primed the whole thing in chrome, just a rattle can chrome that we got off of Amazon. And all of the red is Tamiya X27, and it goes on almost like a glaze. Now the claim from Tamiya is that you could airbrush this. That, I'm sorry ladies and gentlemen, is horseshit. There is absolutely no way that you could do that. It's like trying to stuff a toffee through a garden sieve. Like, it's not possible. This is the stickiest stuff ever. I went through 3 paintbrushes painting this because once it dries like Greg's icing. Just solid, diabetes driven, awful. So it was actually a really costly model to paint because it cost me 3 pretty good paintbrushes. Tamiya paints say that they're sort of a water-based something. I'm not really sure what Tamiya paints are made of. This particular one, as I say, it gives a glorious effect. The problem is that you do need to, you will need to apply about 3 coats. And if your base coat is inconsistent, i.e. let's say you were painting some gold on this and you overspilled onto your silver and you tried to paint the Tamiya over it, the Tamiya would show through that you'd spilled something. I think of it more as a tint to the underlying colour. The colour of all of this model really is just chrome, and then it's just got a red glaze that goes over the top. But the effect, I think you'll agree, is bang on. I went a little differently for the 2 golds, and I wish I hadn't. So the golds up here are a dark star gold. The golds down here are a rub and buff gold. The rub and buff gold is infinitely cooler. I think it looks much more worn, bearing in mind the whole model is sort of meant to be battle damaged. The model that this was, it came with a bunch of battle damaged parts. So you can see up here on the shoulder plates and things like that. You can actually print this slightly differently. So you can actually print this so that the HulkBuster suit is actually closed. Back here, you've actually got the head and everything open because obviously Iron Man's jumping out. And there's actually a separate piece that can sit in front of here with Iron Man standing in front. You can also have all of these armor plates as clean armor plates rather than battle damaged ones. I really like the battle damage. I like it for a couple of reasons. Whenever you're printing something damaged, if your layer lines aren't perfect, it kind of adds to the effect. So obviously I don't resin print my models, so they do look FDM printed, and all of this is FDM. And I really like the fact that in some places where maybe I didn't get the perfect quality, it still looks like, it just looks like it's been scratched up, or it just looks like it's been beaten up or something like that. This came with a big PDF document that again was unfortunately unsigned, that gives you all the details on how to assemble it. I haven't actually glued this to the base, so you can actually lift this model clean off just so that it's a bit easier to move around. At the time I was really doing it so it would be easier to paint, and it wasn't, so so that was a waste of time. But it just sort of sits on there. It sits on there very securely, so even if you're sort of moving this model's not going to go anywhere. There are keys for the feet and the knee and the arm, and they hold it in pretty securely. Paint job wise, I think this might actually be one of my favorite models. I just love it. I would be inclined to sell this if it wasn't for the fact that I can't give credit to, or really, you know, I can't tell the original artist. But I mean, yeah, I love the way it came together. I love the way that all the battle damage on Tony and things like that, his big crack in his faceplate and things. Like, it's just, yeah. There's so many parts of this that I like, and I really love models with layers, where it's not just a super detailed head and then, you know, you lose a bit on the rest of the body, or, you know, it's a super detailed front, but the back is sort of left out because it's covered in a cape or something. You'll see from the 360 video part that this model is detailed top to bottom, front to back, inside and out. It really, the artist did an absolutely stunning job. I would say that if you printed this in resin, it would easily be on par with the XM Studios resin cast statue. And then after that, you've just got to try and paint it and it not look abysmal. But yeah, love it, guys. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for joining. We'll speak to you all soon. Bye.